Hi everybody, this is Kathleen Hinesley with Exploring Dimensions for All. And I haven't posted in a while, and one of the reasons is that I really have been arguing with myself about whether or not it's okay to just post opinion. And I'm just going to give myself permission to do that. So today's topic is going to be the okayness of death. All right, so when I think about all the problems that we're having lately, and they're huge and many, and then there's one dominant one that I'm sure most of you are aware of. I would say that one of our primary problems is actually something that's not being talked about, and that is the fear of death. So we've been living with this concept of death all of our lives ever since we were kids, and we learned that things die. And most people have some idea about what they think happens after death. Atheists, non-spiritual people may believe that we just end and we disappear. And then people that are, of various faiths believe other things. They believe in heaven or hell or reincarnation or something on that order. I believe in reincarnation, but I've also had some experiences talking to people who have died and passed on. And it's not very difficult to talk to people that have passed to the other side. It literally feels as though they're just to the side, not even like they're up or down or in front of me. I often feel like they're just right over here through the thinnest of possible membranes. And when I have talked to people on the other side, it seems to me that they're either going through a set of instructions, they're being taught something, or they're part of a community that is involved in doing things, kind of like we think of angels, having missions that they accomplish. And then some of them are in kind of repair stages where they're kind of resting from what their life was like on Earth. And other people seem to be getting prepared for the next thing. So those of you who've listened to my audiobook or have read my book, Welcome to Infinity, Exploring Ancient and Modern Techniques for Collaborating with Otherworldly Beings, may have seen the part where I talk about having an accident when I was about 15 and remembering being a baby and right before I was born. And one thing I can tell you in no uncertain terms is that I had absolutely no desire to be born again when I was in the spirit world. I had to be talked into it. And I think what happened is that I was talked into it by some sort of an interest arousal where I was shown pictures and images, and then I became interested in those. I was given the sense that I was needed down here, and then I was shown pictures and images of what would happen in my life, and that interested me. And I think that interest is what brought me back down. I think that's what happened. But anyhow, I was not interested in that at all. And then when I had my daughter, I didn't have a C-section or anything. I had her regular vaginal birth. I had absolutely no interest in going through the birthing process because, as a lot of you know, it causes a lot of pain. Some people enjoy it. I would absolutely not say that was the case for me. I wanted to have a baby, but I didn't want to go through the birth process. So both the birth and the death process can be, really riddled with quite a lot of agony depending on the situation. And the last thing I think we need to add is fear. So right now there's a lot of old people and they're pretty close to death anyhow, okay? There's also a lot of terminally ill people on this planet, pretty close to death anyhow. And then we've got this situation that we're all very concerned about, or many people are concerned about. And in my opinion, what doesn't need to be added to that, or any of those things, any of those situations, being close to death or worrying about it, is fear, okay? It's very, very, in my opinion, it's extremely unfounded, because even if you think that you disappear into nothing, because you don't have a spiritual system or a religious system of belief, well, you appeared from nothing. Then you'd be returning, to the earth, to nature. So if you think of it like you're a spark of energy and, you came from energy and you return to energy, and then there's nothing more left of your personality or your identity, you still really shouldn't fear it, because it means that you're understanding that you're part of nature. And then we're just putting labels on whether nature is good or bad. It's not, probably not either. And then if you have a spiritual belief, the only thing that I think that's really hard for people, even if they do have a spiritual belief in what happens after death, is the idea of losing the people that they know, like the association with the people that they know in life, and then also the attachment to the personality, both of which I think get somewhat disrupted during the death process. So although it is possible to communicate with people that are still alive when you're in the death realms, it doesn't happen in the same way. You don't pick up the phone. Some people are not as sensitive to hearing from you. So that can feel like a loss when you're thinking about it. And then, goodness knows it's taken an incredibly long time for us to decide what our opinions are and how we feel about things and what our skills are and what our strengths and weaknesses are and all of this me stuff. And I think all that just pretty much goes away. I talked to my dad about 3 weeks after he passed on, and it was a really poignant discussion. He actually asked to speak to me. And what was really interesting was I got a piece of paper and a pen. I got a notebook and a pen, and and I sat down and I said, "Okay, Dad, I'm here." And he actually said that it was really interesting being dead, because in order to communicate with somebody, you had to find your old personality. In other words, you kind of had to rummage around for it, put it on, stick it around your spirit self, and then you could communicate with people that were still on Earth. So what that suggests to me is that it is nothing more than a suit of clothes that we're wearing. Also, when I think about near-death experiences that I've read about, most of those people don't really want to come back. They come back because they feel like there is something undone, or that they need to help their children, or that there's a mission for them to accomplish, or they're told that there is. So I think what we're really fearing is extreme change, and death causes extreme change. But I've also heard and read from my delvings into life after death writings, the Egyptian Book of the Dead writings, the Tibetan writings about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and then what I've heard from listening to near-death experiencers is that and also my own spiritual beliefs, is that it's very important to be calm as possible and as accepting as possible when death nears, okay? So we're really, I'm so sorry if you're seeing lighting shift. I am seeing some darkness and light coming. I don't know if it's my camera or the room, but it seems to keep changing the light in here. Sorry about that. But anyway, one of the very most important things for someone who is passing through the death realms is to be at peace and to be really calm. And that's because, from what I've understood, they have to face some good things, and then they also have to face some fears in order to kind of get through to the place where they can relax and learn things. At least that's what it appears to be like. So some people talk about the dweller on the threshold. Sometimes there are some belief systems where you meet up with your worst fears, or you meet up with the parts of you don't like, or you meet up with what appear to be dreamlike demonic entities or something. And you have to be able to see past those in order to find a sense of peace. Certainly I don't think that happens to everyone, at least not according to near-death experiencers. But there are a lot of people that believe that does happen to some people. So it's quite important to just be very accepting. Same when you're having a baby. If you're having a baby, you don't want to be stressed and tense and tight while you're in the middle of that birth process. You have to be open, literally, quite literally, you have to be open in order for that birth process to take place. Otherwise, I mean, you are going to die. You can try to clamp down. I don't think so. You need to push forward. So I think for everyone around us, it's important, and for ourselves, my opinion is that it's very, very important for us to work on our fears of death, to search within ourselves to find a way to be okay with that, and then to proceed along in the environment in which we find ourselves with that new sense of peace about death. Please feel free to comment down below. If you like the content of this talk video, please give me a thumbs up. I'll see what I can do about the lighting. I'm not sure that I can do much during the nighttime because I'm in a new cabin that I built here. And I think this is kind of how the electricity is. But anyhow, it's been fun making this video, and I hope it helps somebody out there to think and to relax a little bit more about death, which is one of the greatest mysteries, I think, in life. And although I believe we go through it many, many times, because I believe in reincarnation, I think it's a little bit veiled, kind of like we forget a little bit. We go through it and we kind of forget what it was like, and then we kind of have a sense of it, but we're not totally sure. But just like any really good mystery novel, I think we can be just as excited about whenever it's right for us to die, whenever we're taken out naturally, as anything else. You know, as a good novel, as a great movie, we can be excited about opening that book. We don't have to be scared. All right, and I'm not really into suicide, because I think that's just not the way we ought to be going. I think we're here, you know, for a reason. We leave for a reason, and we should be happy about it. We should be happy about all of it. So, all right, take care. All right, see ya. Bye.